ओ कैसे हो भाई बहनों मैं हूं अनस इस दफा हम लोग देख रहे हैं स्कैमों के बारे में PlayStation 4 scams ladies and gentlemen. You know, already somebody already clicked off the video like they titled it in English and they started speaking the moon runes there. It sounds like the Geek Squad. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Muda, and if it's something that I absolutely despise, it is without a doubt, bear with me, people who scam individuals, okay? I genuinely think if you scam people out of money or whatever, their data, I don't care. You are a terrible human being that I can never respect, okay? And I don't think anybody should respect an actual piece of shit scammer. Now, to understand, a couple days ago, I made a video where I talked about the PlayStation 4 emulation, right? Where we actually got PlayStation 4 games running underneath the PC. Now, that is something brand new, okay? We have just basically scratched the surface of PlayStation 4 emulation. Now, ever since I made that video, I talked about one scam, and I got a couple of people who actually tried downloading this scam in particular. And it's a very intricate scam. I wouldn't make this video if there wasn't a lot of stuff to dive into. But ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard of something called PCSX4. Okay, so here's their website, PCSX4 emulator for the PC. Now, to understand, you might have heard of PCSX2. It's a PlayStation 2 emulator, super popular. People use it. I use it all the time. Look, I ain't that much of a PC gamer, but I am a PC emulator. I love playing classic games on my computer. Emulation is one of those things where I have a lot of history to it. I love emulators. Now, people fall for this because it actually looks quite good, okay? On the surface level, you might look at this and be like, damn, this is a nice site, bro. God damn. Now, here they actually cover PlayStation 4 emulation, and they say they're an open source experimental PS4 emulator project written in C++ for Windows and Mac OS. God damn. So here they start mentioning how they can play PS4 games on PC and Mac. It uses OpenGL, Vulkan, DirectX 12, basically all the fancy buzzwords to make it sound somewhat legitimate. Native PS4 emulation. PS4 is based on x86-64 architecture, so PCSX4 can run natively on Windows systems by taking advantage of Ogre, Vulkan API, and orbital hardware-assisted virtualization. So, ladies and gentlemen, to understand, none of this means anything. This is all bullshit. So here's why it's bullshit. Yes, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are based on x86-64 architecture. Most of you on a computer are probably on that same architecture. That doesn't mean the programs from the PlayStation 4, the packages, will run on PC. If that was true, original Xbox would be a cakewalk to emulate, and it still isn't to this day. To understand, the emulator we looked at, Spine, was able to use wine-like tools. Basically, it was translating calls from a different Unix system, BSD, which is exactly what PS4 and PS5's operating system is based off, and translating that to Linux, which is why the emulator I showed you was Linux exclusive and probably will forever be Linux exclusive. Now, to understand, the way that we are getting into PlayStation emulation right now, PS4, is we are using hypervisors to translate things, translate code, translate calls. So the way that I run my virtual machines with graphic cards passing through them is using hypervisors to basically run Windows underneath it and run it like if it was actually running bare metal. That's the way that we're achieving it. It's kind of different than traditional emulation methods. So anyways, unlocked FPS. You can play games with variable frame rates and buttery smooth experiences that run at 60 FPS. Again, bullshit. A lot of games that are 30 FPS sometimes are actually tied to their frame rate. So you can't just jump into an emulator and unlock things to 60 frames. If you ever played PS2 emulators, you actually need 60 FPS memory code hacks to get it running at 60 frames per second. Unless the game is coded to run at 60 frames, sometimes just changing the frame rate can break a title. Multiple input devices, enhanced visual. So these are the only 2 points that kind of apply to most emulators. You can always use a Joy-Con with like a weird different emulator setup. You can upgrade the resolutions. This is like standard stuff for a lot of mature emulators. So here it is. This is the emulator research project. Total bullshit. Now you go down and they start mentioning, they actually have videos, dude. So you can click on more of their videos and you can start to find out that they have an entire setup tutorial. So let's click on the setup tutorial and go check it out. Now on their actual channel, which has 3,084 subscribers, 840, whatever, dude. I'm too toasted for this. But ladies and gentlemen, they have 228,000 views. They've disabled likes to dislikes in the comments because, as you can imagine, it would probably be filled with the word scam over and over and over again, to the point where the YouTube algorithm would take these people down for a community guideline strike, as they should, because this is against the YouTube TOS. It's against any TOS. Now, if you watch the video, they actually walk you through this like process, and this is where it's kind of even wilder. If you look at it, it literally does look like a standard application. I mean, how could they fake that? Anybody can design a graphic user interface and fake the fuck out of it, okay? Like I said, this is a very, very, very well done scam, okay? Literally, they have everything down to a T. And I wouldn't blame somebody who doesn't know their computer stuff, doesn't know their emulation stuff, to actually fall for the scam. Look at some of the stuff that they're showing. So they've got Bloodborne on PC. So you click on Bloodborne for PC, and they're going to show you footage, allegedly, of Bloodborne running on a PC. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bloodborne in their eyes. Now, what they've done here is they've recorded footage from the console, posted it back onto the system, and they're just running it through this window. So if you look at the very top, it might be blurry for you depending on how my desktop capture works. You can see that they've got Ogre 3D. Ogre 3D is some open source game engine. You do not use a game engine to run the graphic tools for your emulator. It's not, that's just bullshit. Okay, so that right there is a dead giveaway. They've got it running at 1080p, 60 frames per second, apparently, with the GPU usage around 90%, okay? It's just random numbers fluctuating. You can do this in a lot of code, as you can just code this up yourself and make it look like this. So anyways, they got it running at apparently 60 frames when it isn't. You can watch the video closely and see that it's running at 30 frames, and it's got compression artifacts. It's literally a video. It's not actual gameplay, dude. If it is gameplay, they're just using remote play to game from a PlayStation onto this device. 3 years ago, they got 500,000 views on Spider-Man and God of War 4, which probably got people to go to their website because they looked at this and thought it was fucking real. So here's, apparently in their eyes, Spider-Man running on a PlayStation 4. Now the emulator. Now to understand, if the emulators were this good, I would have been making this video over and over and over again. I would have been on my knees choking on the cock of the developers that have made this. But it doesn't exist because it's just PlayStation footage that they've captured and they're just running it. You can see that there's no visual errors. That's so uncommon for any emulator. Even on mature stuff like PCSX2 or Dolphin, you'll still have graphical errors. They have managed to make Spider-Man one of the most visually demanding games on the system run with no hiccups. Now, if you look at the top left over here, you can see that they've got DirectX 12. Again, Vulkan would make more sense, but they've got it running at like 55, 53 frames. The game is not running at that frame rate. You can look by the video. 87% CPU. Again, just random fucking metrics. They've got 6,000 megabytes of memory being used, which I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 4 doesn't even have access to that much memory to work with under its emulation. I'm mixing up my words, okay? In fact, they're so brazenly bad that they have blogs set up for this. So you can see that they've talked about Spider-Man runs on PC with PS4 emulator. Oh yeah? Here, read it. You'll be happy to know that this AAA exclusive is fully playable on PC with good frame rate and graphics. It runs at 4K, dude. You might have some audio syncing issues with Maxwell and Polaris-based GPUs due to the I/O speed mismatch. Again, anybody that doesn't know their stuff would probably look at this and be like, huh, it's all bullshit. It's all snake oil nonsense. They even have a graph that tells you see that GTX 1080? That just runs the game at higher frame rates. You know what emulation is dependent on? Your CPU, okay? The GPU matters very little, actually, unless you're cranking up the resolution for the system. Now, if you look at their 4 repositories, you can see that they straight up steal code from other individuals. So this is something they call the PDX dumper, okay? All right, might as well be a fat dump. All right, it's what it is. So you click on the PDX dumper. They have literally copied the exact project from another creator, somebody who's actually making a real PlayStation 4 emulator. They even left their credit in the README for the GitHub, Alex Altia. All right, so this PDX dumper, read the first section, okay? Dumper to extract this first section for PCSX4. If you go to the actual person, okay, the actual Alex Altia who designed this, go to their actual GitHub real quick, and you can find out in their tools list, the dumper, this is the exact copy. They just changed orbital to PCSX4. They are literal scumbags, all right? Just straight up stealing people's source code, pretending that it's theirs, and it's not even doing anything. This is just one scam. It's a well-executed scam, no less. Now, you might be like, but Muda, how do I know if it's a real PlayStation emulator? Listen, I'm here to help you out. I'm not here to condescend to people that fall for scams. Listen, the reason I'm so toasted right now is that these scams, people can fall for them, and you shouldn't call somebody stupid for falling for this. So really, it's all about educating people, okay? Because education is the right thing to do. Teach people so they don't make the same mistakes again. And over here, we've got emulation.gametechwiki.com, one of many websites, but here they're detailing you 5 PlayStation 4 emulators. So you've got Spine, which we just looked at. You've got Orbital, which can actually boot into the recovery phase of the actual PlayStation 4 firmware. That's actually made by Alex Altia, the guy that had his code just straight ripped. You've got GPCS4, you've got PS4 Delta, and RPCS4, which is actually a project from one of the developers that worked on RPCS3. They since branched off from what I've understood. The only legitimate way to emulate your PS4 games right now is to buy a PS5, which I don't even know if it's really emulation there, since, you know, the architectures are super similar, and it's also a Sony-run thing. They're the people that know the most about their system. So yeah, that's what it is. These 4 things, they're real, and they're very much in their infancies. They cannot run Bloodborne, they cannot run Ghost of Tsushima, they cannot run Spider-Man, they cannot run Senran Kagura even, I'm pretty sure, underneath their emulation methods. Okay, well, Senran Kagura, I think, works under Spine. I'm not entirely sure. But they don't work under PCSX4, because that shit's a fucking scam. Now, you might be like, oh, but Muda, they have a download link. What harm is it in trying? Okay, first off, don't download anything from these websites, because they're 99.9% of the time, they're to malware, like, they're to infect you, okay? It is what it is. So here you've got the Mac OS version and the Windows version, okay? So I'm going to download the Windows version, and as you can see, it takes me to a CAPTCHA, okay? So I download, and look at that! We got surveys! Anytime you see a survey, you run, okay? All right, you fucking mirror's edge out the window, because this shit is there to scam you. So let's go do the 2-minute one, okay? Complete the steps and get a $750 Walmart gift card. Okay, already another lie. Do you shop at Walmart often? Yes. Well, how do you plan on using your $750? Keeping it. How many times do you go shopping a week? 10 times. All right, why not? Confirm your email? Big Dick Rick. Hell yeah, dude. Now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously you can't download it, but this is some ordinary gamers, okay? We go above and beyond in our videos right here, okay? All right, when we shitpost right. And so on the right here, I have a Windows 10 virtual machine that I've provisioned, and I've actually managed to get somebody's interpretation of the PlayStation 4 emulator to show you sometimes these scams can even be downloadable. Now, we're going to open up Internet Explorer over here, and we're going to go to a site called VirusTotal just for a quick check on this service, okay? So VirusTotal, it's a great way to check what kind of malware could exist on any given file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss this RAR file that I downloaded, which this virtual machine, VirtualBox is not the ideal way to go down, let me tell you. But this is a bunch of generic Trojans. Male generic Trojans. So it's not something you want on your system, okay? I'm just putting it out there. Now, if we open up the actual emulator, you can see that the folder structure looks pretty decent. In fact, they've got a DirectX log file for you too. Wait, when was this log file created? Somewhere in 2012, no less. Believable. We've also got DTC install, which that was 2013, a year after, if you will. What the fuck? Now, of course, we've got the actual emulators. Let's open it up, and you can see PS4 EMU. All right, dude, it seems real. Wait, let's check the task manager. Windows Application 6. Somebody didn't even code that into the bullshit fake app. But sure. So this comes from godownloadgames.com, which if I go to their website and just type in godownloadgames.com, you can see that it's a defunct website. All right. Obviously, it doesn't exist. But let's go check out the PS4 emulator. So here you can load up disk ROM or an ISO file. So either or will work. I mean, I can feed it Microsoft Edge, and it's not like the application cares. You can go to the configuration screen and change the graphics. So the resolution, you can have 640 by 480, all right, for all you Switch gamers. Sorry, that was mean. I'm kind of an asshole lately. 2048 by 1080, okay? Whoever has that resolution, whatever alien planet you're from, you can game there. Renderer, DirectX 9, 10, or Direct3D 11. All of it doesn't work. Aspect ratio, 4:3 or 16:9. I don't even think PlayStation 4 can render in 4:3, right? I don't even think that's an option. Texture filtering, shadows, VSync, shadows again. They have two shadows, dude. They got two edgy boys. You've got texture resolution, slap ultra, distortion. You want to ruin the graphics too? Why not? Save it up, baby. You've also got sound, all right? So you can, I mean, volume would be healthy, okay? Driver, HD audio, sure. I mean, it's real. Output, yes. Automatic volume, up, down, sure, why not, baby? Controller, that straight up almost crashes the application. BIOS, give it the BIOS. You take Microsoft Edge and auto-update it too. And then, if we check the About section, it actually is, we are a group of professionals, who can't spell the word professional no less, who made this great and first working PS4 emulator. Emulator is tested on NextOS. What? Windows XP, Windows 7, 8, Vista, Linux, Ubuntu. Ubuntu is Linux, you dipshit. Get out of here. Mac OS Snow Leopard. This is like vintage. This is from back in the day. This is from the olden days, boys. You can go to godownloadgames.com and download even more malware, or check us out on Facebook. So yeah, cool. Let's start the game. And as you can see, the emulator, all you see is this big black screen, okay? So, yeah, it doesn't work. Dude, you could feed this shit God of War and it'll still give you a black screen. You could feed it Hello Kitty Island Adventure and it's still going to give you a big black screen. So, yeah, this is a scam. And I'm probably running some cryptocurrency miner. So, I'm going to destroy this Windows 10 virtual machine. I think it's been through enough pain and suffering. Let's end it. So what have we learned, ladies and gentlemen? We have learned that scamming on the emulator front is quite real and dandy. And there's a lot of gamers out there who want to play those Sony exclusives. Hey, if I didn't have a PlayStation 4, I'd probably download this to get some hope of playing Spider-Man. But then again, I'd also be back at 11 years old and falling for things like this all the time. I think it's okay to admit that people fall for this kind of stuff. Look, I've fallen for it. I know that people have fallen for it. There's no need to shame anybody. But that's what this video is about, educating people. So ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you learned that do not download from something as scummy as PCSX4. Stay far, far and away. And if you want to hear more about emulation, go to r/emulation. Check out my channel, check out Modern Vintage Gamer, or check out the RPCS3 developers if you're interested in PlayStation 3 like I am currently. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the PCSX4 scam. Hopefully you've learned your lessons. Hopefully you avoided this. This is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I'm going to go play Final Fantasy 15.